felt drained from saying yes too often? I'm sure you have. And many people can attest to that. You're not alone. But remember that there's a way to get out of that situation. So, welcome back to the Harmony Exchange podcast, where we have real conversations about leadership, conflict, and authentic living. I'm your host, Cardell Salmon Mayer, and today we're stepping into part two of our people pleasing series. Yeah! The last time we uncovered the truth about people pleasing. We spoke about how it looks like kindness, but actually robs us of our peace. So today, we're moving into this solution. We're going to be looking at boundaries, specifically boundaries that build freedom. We have to get ourselves away from people pleasing to get to the freedom that we want. Now, let me say this up front. Boundaries are not selfish. Get it out of your head. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are how you protect your time, your energy, and your purpose. And here's the surprising part. Boundaries, it doesn't push people away. It actually draws the right people closer to us. So, in this episode, we'll talk about boundaries, what they really are, why we often feel guilty about setting them, and how a healthy no can actually make your yes more powerful. So, let's get into that. Let's look at why boundaries matter. They matter because they protect us, they protect our peace, as we spoke about earlier. Now, let's think of boundaries as a fence around your garden. Remember the time you took to plant those beautiful flowers? You planted them for yourself, but you also don't mind if someone comes by to admire them. Now let's look at it. A fence doesn't mean you don't want anyone near your garden. Actually, you want them to admire the hard work and the beautiful end product. It simply defines what belongs to you, what you're responsible for, and how others can interact with it. Now, without a fence, anyone can walk through, pick what they want, or even trample those gorgeous flowers. You wouldn't want that, would you? So, because you don't want that, let me talk to you about putting the boundaries in place. It is pretty evident from the analogy that I gave you that boundaries protect what's valuable. Boundaries are love with structure. They show where respect begins and where it ends. In leadership, family, or work, the same principle applies because without boundaries, people can place endless demands on you, your time, your energy. And while you may say yes to all of them, eventually, let me tell you, eventually you will burn out. And then you will have nothing left to give. That's not what you want for yourself because you want something in the tank for yourself and for your family and the people who you care for. Boundaries don't mean you stop caring. Boundaries mean you care enough to protect your best so you can show up fully. So, why do we feel guilty when we set boundaries? Now, let's talk about that because this is where so many of us get stuck in the guilt phase. We feel guilty. That's the sneakiest voice of all. Why are you saying no? It disguises itself as love, but really it's fear. Guilt is fear. It's not love. It's because you're fearful of saying no and what it might do to the relationship that you have with that individual. So, why does saying no feel so hard? It feels hard because we have been conditioned to believe these lies. And let me tell you what the lies are. If I say no, people will think I don't care. That's not true. Well, some people will, but it's not entirely true. Good leaders always say yes. That's not true. Boundaries mean I'm being selfish. Uh-uh. But here's the truth. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're protecting your capacity so you can care in ways that matter. Good leaders don't say yes to everything. Remember that. Good leaders don't say yes to everything, and good individuals don't say yes to everything. They say yes to the right things and no to the wrong ones. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're actually wise. They keep resentment from growing and relationships from breaking down. So let me ask you this. Have you ever said yes out of guilt? I'm sure there are many people that I'm speaking to or that are listening to me. You could say yes to that. And then almost immediately you regretted it. I'm here to tell you that's not love, that's pressure. That's the slow leak that drains your peace. Little by little, it drains your peace. It drains your ability to relax and to take time for yourself. The guilt you feel, it's not truth. It's just an old habit of people pleasing, trying to talk you out of living free. So let's talk a little bit about shifting the perspective. I'm here to encourage you. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Boundaries are not rejection. Let me say this again. Boundaries are not rejection, they are protection. Every no you say to pressure is a yes you say to peace. Remember that. Every no to overload is a yes to balance. Every no to constant demands is a yes to your family, your health, and your calling. Now, I want you to think about it. When someone says yes to everything, their yes loses meaning. When someone has the courage to say no, their yes carries weight. And why is that? Because it's authentic, it's dependable. That's the power of boundaries. Now, boundaries are doors, not walls. A wall shuts everyone out, but a door opens to the right people and the right opportunities, and it closes to the things that don't belong. Boundaries don't shut out love, they make space for real love, the kind of love that's rooted in truth. Boundaries aren't the end of connection, they are the beginning of honest relationships. Remember that. So here's your challenge, the challenge that I have for you. The next time you're about to say yes, take a pause. Don't just say yes immediately. Take a pause. You may save yourself the heartache. Then ask yourself, am I about to say yes out of love or out of fear? Am I saying yes to serve or to avoid guilt? Guess what? That pause can save you from many heartache and from resentment later. Now let's talk about practical boundaries in action. Here we go. What do boundaries actually sound like? Have you ever pondered that in your mind and to say, what do boundaries actually sound like? The practicality of setting boundaries. Let me tell you, I'm going to give you some phrases that you can use without apology. When someone asks you to do something and you can't do it, you don't have to jump and say yes. You can say to them, I can't commit to that right now. Another phrase, that's not possible for me this week, but here's what I can do. Another one, I appreciate the ask, but I don't have the capacity for that right now. Another one, no, I can't take that on, but thank you for thinking of me. Did you notice anything? I did. Every one of those is respectful, clear, and guilt free. What it says to me and should say to you, you're not shutting out the person, you're simply defining your limits. You are setting boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. Leaders, this is especially for you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for your team is model boundaries yourself. When you say no, you give them permission to do the same. You're saying to your subordinates that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. That creates healthier workplaces, healthier ministries, and healthier families. Put this in your mind. Even Jesus stepped away to rest. Yes, he did. He stepped away to pray, taking time for himself. Boundaries are not rebellion, they're wisdom. Boundaries are wisdom. Setting boundaries help to preserve your peace, your mental faculties. It helps to keep you in balance. Now let's bring this home. Boundaries are not selfish, like I said before. I have to keep reiterating that so you get it. They are not selfish, they are sacred. They keep your heart healthy, your yes meaningful, and your relationships strong. Every time you say no to pressure, you're saying yes to peace, yes to purpose, and yes to the people and priorities that matter most in your life. Now, in our next episode, we'll go even further. We'll talk about breaking free from people pleasing altogether. We're going to be moving from keeping the peace to making peace. There's a difference. There's a difference between keeping the peace and making peace. And we're going to be talking about living authentically with confidence, without fear and without guilt. So, if this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who struggles to say no without guilt. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss part 3 of this series. Also, remember to click that bell so you get notification when a new series or a new episode drops. Until then, remember this, ladies and gentlemen, boundaries don't build walls, they build freedom. I'm Cardell Salmon Mayer, and this has been the Harmony Exchange podcast. We're helping you to build peace within and without. So until next time, whatever we spoke about here today, put it in practice. Practice, practice. Get rid of the guilt that you feel and set boundaries. Until next time, see you. Take care. Bye-bye.